And by the way, what we shouldn't do, I just got to say this, what we shouldn't be doing is trying to take away your rights to bargain for better wages and working conditions. We shouldn't be doing that.
Tennessee has had a wonderful history of economic achievement.
This new plant sends a clear and strong message for the state of Tennessee, for Volkswagen, and for the entire automotive industry.
We've been fortunate to find a region with a strong commitment to the environment and energy independence.
You know, these so-called right-to-work laws, they don't have to do with economics, they have everything to do with politics. What they're really talking about is
it is still one of the most innovative, progressive, and attractive facilities and workforce in the world.
Good things like this don't just happen. You had to have people willing to stick out their necks, make the investment. This is the way it should work and in the way that it can work. And I look for the future to hold even more great things for Tennessee.
Made in America. For generations of Michigan auto workers, it's more than a slogan. It's a way of life. But when 1 million jobs were on the line, every Republican candidate turned their back, even said, let Detroit go bankrupt. Not him.
don't bet against the American auto industry.
Now, a retooled, restructured industry is back because of the grit and sacrifice of Michigan workers.
Don't bet against the American worker.
I'm Barack Obama, and I approve this message.
Simply put, as bad as the economy is in America today, it's worse in Detroit. How bad? As I would discover, worse than you can imagine. As the big three automakers slash jobs, unemployment has climbed to 22%. Once home to 2 million people, only 800,000 are left in Detroit.
That one's boarded up right there. This one coming up down here is wide open.
Those downward forces have combined to create one growth industry, foreclosures.
Here's a foreclosure right here. Here's a foreclosure.
But something's different this time around, and it starts with the auto companies themselves. Just a few years ago, the auto industry wasn't just struggling, it was flatlining. GM and Chrysler were on the verge of collapse. Suppliers and distributors were at risk of going under. More than 1 million jobs across the country were on the line, and not just auto jobs, but the jobs of teachers, small business owners, and everyone in communities that depend on this great American industry. But we refused to throw in the towel and do nothing. We refused to let Detroit go bankrupt. I bet on American workers and American ingenuity, and 3 years later, that bet is paying off in a big way.
Detroit's Democratic Party mayor and city council, working with the governor of Michigan, are preparing mass layoffs of city workers as part of a broader assault on the city's working class. Mayor David Bing is proposing to lay off 10% of the city's workforce in addition to imposing pay and benefit cuts, while the city council is calling for 2,300 layoffs, including hundreds of firefighters.
Vietnam, let's give any company a tax break if it unbolts machinery in Vietnam and sends it to Detroit. But these guys said no. They voted no. Look, he called the President of the United States out of touch because we were focused. Remember when the President made that comment, John Dingell, he said, you know, young people should look to manufacturing, high-tech manufacturing. And he said the President's so out of touch. Out of touch. How many of y'all have a Swiss bank account? How much you got invested in the Cayman Islands? Out of touch. Whoa, man. Ladies and gentlemen, talk about out of touch. This guy won't even let you see his tax return. He wants you to show your papers, but not your tax returns. Folks, the President and I are determined to replace the word outsourcing for our children's generation with the word insourcing. Companies are coming home to America, and they're coming home for one stark reason. Steel workers, iron workers, electricians, machinists, mechanics, you are the most productive workers in the world. And that's not just us saying it, it's a fact. There's an outfit called the Boston Consulting Group. They did this big study for the Fortune 50 companies. There's some of them out there. And they said American workers are 3 times as productive as Chinese workers. That's why they're coming home.
I'm Barack Obama, and I approve this message.
When the auto industry faced collapse, Mitt Romney turned his back. Even the Detroit News criticized Romney for his wrong-headedness on the bailout. President Obama took a stand for American jobs.
Don't bet against the American worker.
And Michigan's auto industry is back. So remember what Mitt Romney said.
That's exactly what I said. The headline you read, which is said, "Let Detroit go bankrupt."
And what President Obama did for Michigan.
After the election of Jimmy Carter, the Honorable Coleman Alexander Young, he went to Washington, D.C. He came back home with some bacon. Right. I remember that. That's what you do. That's what you do. This is our people, in an overwhelming way, supported the re-election of this president, and there ought to be a quid pro quo, and you ought to exercise leadership on that. Of course, not just that, but why not?